Awaken to hair growth. Awaken to hair growth because there is possibility to get your hair back. Awaken to hair growth because we're not told that we're able to conquer and overcome alopecia. Awaken to hair growth because I want to be a positive light and beacon for you because I've healed my alopecia and now I help others do the same with different types of alopecia, men, women, children of all ages, of all races and ethnicities.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Alopecia Angel podcast. I am your host, Johanna Dullman, Awaken to Hair Growth. Today, we are going to be talking about the 6 reasons that are keeping you from healing your alopecia and hair loss permanently. And if you've been dealing with hair loss, if you've been dealing with alopecia, if you've been dealing with the constant shedding, you know how aggravating it is when you think you're doing it all, when you think you have done so many things, and yet you're still stuck in the mud. And I want to push you out of the mud and get you towards hair growth. And we do this on many levels with the Hair and Heal program. But today, let me share with you 6 and a bonus one, actually, 7 items that are holding you back. And the first one is a big one because if you go into anything half-heartedly, it's not going to end up in your favor. And mindset is the first reason why you are still dealing with hair loss. Mindset is everything. You need mindset so that you can believe you can heal, so that you can believe in yourself and in your body. If you go into anything, whether that's into a program or into any situation half-heartedly with just 50% of effort or maybe a lazy gene to you, then this isn't going to help. And mindset requires you to be focused, requires you to be all in, requires you to be a game player, requires you to be involved, an active participant in order for you to heal. And I say this because I see a very big difference in the people who heal and the people who don't heal, and the people who get results in less time and the ones who are dilly-dallying, so to speak, and taking longer. So I see a difference within many people, and when they come to me, and I could tell even within an email how fervent their need is to heal, or if this is just like an extra happy addition to their life. Like for me, alopecia was so devastating that I would do anything, and I was 100%, 1,000% involved. Anything you asked me to do, I would just keep doing, keep hammering away. And many times that works and many times it doesn't work. But I know that mindset is huge. And throughout my whole time with alopecia, I knew I would heal. And so this is the first step to really healing, is to believe you can heal. And so mindset is huge. It really is. I can't say enough about it. There was a quote from Henry Ford who said, "If you believe you can, or if you believe you cannot, either way you are right." And this is big. I mean, as a parent, I see how big this is for children in order to, build their confidence up for their next step, whether that's taking their first steps as a toddler, or whether that's going the extra mile and, seeing them be able to pedal the pedals on the bicycle or any other challenge that they may come across. And so with you listening, I'm telling you, mindset is everything. And believe you can heal, believe you can do this, because it's not for the special few. It's not for those with unicorn abilities. It's for everybody. And what I love to say is that the Hair and Heal program puts you in the driver's seat. It puts you in full control of how fast and how far you go in terms of hair growth. We lay everything out. We give you a personalized roadmap to your healing. You just have to follow and implement. And implementing can be challenging, right? We all have busy lives, but at the same time is that you are in full control. So if you want it, it's there. And that's the beauty of it, because all the doctors that I've seen, all the other options that I was looking at during my time with alopecia, no one told me I was in full control. No one gave me the ability to even think that there was a possibility to heal or a possibility to reverse this. And if you see me now, I have my full hair more than 8 years. I've had COVID. I've had a pregnancy. I've had, postpartum. I've had everything. And yet I still have my hair. And this is the control that I'm talking about, that regardless of anything that comes your way, including COVID, including postpartum, including hormonal fluctuations, including anything else, you can still have full control. And it's all about the mindset, knowing what it is, knowing that you can heal, knowing that, yes, there are setbacks in life. We all have them, but we can get up, dust ourselves off, and keep going. We have the power to say, this is not going to take me down and keep me down. This is just a situation, a time in my chapter of life, and I will grow from it. I will heal from it, and I will move on from it, because that's what we want. We want to move on. And it's possible for you too. So I was recording a podcast interview last week and had the host said she had ulcerative colitis for 10 years. And until she was able to heal and put it into her remission with diet and lifestyle. Ulcerative colitis is also an autoimmune disease. The host had a massive aha moment when we were speaking, as she told me that she was always saying to herself, why me? Why me? Why is this happening to me? And so this was her situation going through 10 years with ulcerative colitis. And I revealed that I never said that to myself. Actually, I was always thinking and saying, what is this trying to teach me? What do I need to learn from this? And if you reframe any challenging, possibly negative situation in your life that's going on, and you reframe it and say, what is this trying to teach me? What do I need to learn from this? Instead of the why me, you will be better off. 100%. You will be better off, and you will get to healing in less time. I guarantee it. And healing in anything, right? It could be a heartbreak. It can be an accident of any sort. You can heal and you can move forward a lot quicker than someone who continues to have the why me question revolve around them. So many times it's asking the right questions that will give you a better edge. And thus, she and I concluded that I was able to heal faster and reverse my alopecia in a little over 3 years versus, someone like herself who took 10 years. And the difference there was mindset. It wasn't action. It was mindset, because mindset can hold you back. I can't do this. Oh, that's not for me. Oh, it won't work for me. That's all baloney. That's all nonsense. It can work for you. You can heal, and it can happen for you. Your body is just waiting for you to take action. Your body is waiting for you to hit the go button. That's all that is. And so once you have mindset triggered and locked in place, then you're already on the right path. So the detour is up to you 100%. If you want to take the long, windy route, the scenic route for alopecia and for hair loss, you can. But if you want to take the toll road, pay the toll and get there to results faster, you can also do that too. It's really up to you. So that's number one, is mindset. Number two plays along a little bit with number one. And what that looks like is playing the victim. And this goes along with the above. Many times we ask, why me, when we should be trying to solve this as it's a problem of any other kind. Before creating Alopecia Angel, I had worked at Apple. And we were taught in many ways to think outside the box, to keep searching for answers, and to be relentless. And guess what? It paid off. I got the results, and so do my clients. And if we continue to play the victim, then you still keep yourself stuck in the mud. Asking better questions, making a better decision keeps you going. Even if your decision doesn't give you the results, it still takes you to that next step. So for example, in my alopecia journey, maybe like yours too, you've seen multiple doctors, you've seen multiple people, and maybe you've also tried multiple things, everything from like a shampoo to a serum to this, to that, to a lotion and a potion, right? But each step has taken you closer and closer and closer to that next step. And many times we have to learn the hard way that maybe this group of people, or maybe people with this background, or maybe people who are trying to sell me a shampoo or a product is not going to work. Maybe what it is that I need a reset, a reboot, and I need to redo this from the ground up. That was my takeaway from alopecia, that I needed to redo my health, mind, body, and spirit from the ground up. And I did so. And I lay it out all for you in the program. And so playing the victim will keep us only locked in our own prison that we are creating for ourselves. And that's something that I don't want you to go through. I see this here and there, and it's unsettling because no one has the key but you. No one has the key to unlock that door but you. And sometimes it takes a few months, sometimes it takes years, but it's all up to you on how quickly you want to unlock yourself from that chain, from that carcel, from that prison, so that you can move forward. Number 3 is the negative Nancy syndrome. And I see this a lot with people of all walks of life. And being negative Nancy can also be meaning skeptical. And I will say that I do have a small percentage of people who join my program and who are skeptical. They join it. They're like, okay, let's see what this is all about. And guess what? They're the ones, funny enough, they're the ones that see hair growth in like the second week or in the third week. It's quite amazing because they come in guns blazing, full of fire and very voiced and very just boisterous about their skepticism. And they say and talk about it very, upfront. And yet they're the ones who see hair growth. And the last time I had a vegan client, and she was a strict vegan for many years, and she still is. And she did my program, and she saw hair growth in 2 weeks. And the alopecia is something that she's been dealing with for over 5 years. And on the same flip side, there was somebody who joined my program. She was very skeptical, and she was alopecia universalis. She didn't think this would work. She hooed and hawed and kind of like pushed back on a lot of things that I encouraged her to do. And once she embraced it, once she became coachable, once she became the student, then she saw hair growth, massive hair growth in 10 weeks. And I've posted her picture on my social media because in 5 weeks, she saw tons of white hair plus a big patch of black hair on her head. And then 5 weeks later from that, she saw 75% of her hair covered. And this had been the most, like the fastest hair growth for somebody with alopecia universalis that I had seen to date. And it's quite remarkable what our bodies are able to do once we become the student, which leads me to my number 4. Number 4 reason that you're still dealing with hair loss is not being the student. And when we go to school, any school, elementary, high school, university, uni, as many of you call it, we're there to learn. We're there to hear experiences. We're here to learn from the professors. We're learned to hear those with experience. We're learned to take it in, right? We can make our own conclusions. We can agree or not agree. We can think differently. We can have many varying remarks and just feedback in general, right? But if you don't implement the way they are trying to teach you, then more than likely you won't pass the test. More than likely you won't pass the class with flying colors. And this is the thing. Life is a test. And many times the universe gives us lessons over and over and over and over again. The same lesson may be disguised as something else. The same lesson may be disguised with a different person or a different situation, but it's the same lesson over and over again. And for many of you who've been dealing with alopecia for 5+ years, 2+ years, there's a learning lesson to this. There's something that you need to learn so that you can stop this once and for all. And sometimes this even goes into, our personal lives or our professional lives as well. If we keep not getting the promotion, if we keep dating the same kind of person who ghosts us or who doesn't treat us well or who disrespects us, then that's something we need to learn. We need to learn how to navigate those situations, right? And so the same thing happens with alopecia. And for many of you, you don't come to me until that 3rd, 4th, 5th cycle of hair loss, and then until it's like the worst ever. Because I'll tell you a secret. From what I've seen from all of my clients, the ones who have the vicious cycles, it only gets worse. It doesn't get better. And so if you just leave it alone thinking, oh, it's no big deal, it's already grown in, then you're already doing yourself a disservice, because a few months or years from now, you will have that vicious cycle again, and it'll be 2 or 3 times worse. And then if it grows back naturally, and then you're like, oh, no big deal. That was a hard one, but I went through it. And then let's say you go through another vicious cycle, it'll be even more devastating. And so I highly recommend that if you have alopecia once, even if this is your first time, nip it in the bud. Get all the information you need, learn how to heal and reverse it so you don't have to deal with it again. Because what I've seen is that, again, those cycles become worse and worse and worse. And I don't want that for you. And I know you don't want that for you either. And so it's better to learn the lesson the first time and be done. And so not being the student means also not being coachable, not being or heeding recommendations, not working, right, with the coach, with me, with the one who has experience in order to really tailor this to you. I tailor the program to each and every person with our evaluation. The personal evaluation comes first. That's first and foremost. But not being the student means like not wanting to be open to any ideas, not wanting to work with me. And I'm happy to work with you and, get to a happy medium. And there hasn't been really anyone that I can think of to this date over the hundreds and hundreds of clients that we've helped that hasn't been, super coachable. A couple, push back in the beginning because of the skepticism, but then once they start to see the results, then they're like all in. And that's just it. When you're the student, you need to have faith that this is going to work, faith that this is part of your journey, faith that you are going to heal. And so sometimes that skepticism holds you back from really embracing everything that you could be garnering in less time. And then the next step or the next reason why you're not seeing hair growth and just more hair loss is not taking action. And I had a coaching session the other day with someone who's been dealing with alopecia for many years and has hair, but also has the looming bald spots. And she has everything she needs to get going. And she had a coaching session with me and she cannot motivate herself to get going. And if there's something that I cannot do for you, it's the actual work. It's just like going to the gym. You're the one doing the push-ups. You're the one running on the treadmill. You're the one lifting the weights. You're the one doing sit-ups. You're the one doing all these things, right? If you go to the gym and you have a personal trainer, the trainer is there to guide you, to make sure you have good posture, to make sure you're doing things in a safe manner, right? And in the same format, taking action here with the Alopecia Angel program is in the same way. You need to do the work. I evaluate you, I recommend things for you, I guide you step by step along the way, making sure that everything is safe. And, we continue to moderate and follow you on your progress and help you where you have troubles and where you have challenges. But not taking action is really not an option. Not taking action not only keeps you stuck in hair loss, but then also doesn't move you forward in any which direction. So that could be also analysis by paralysis, where you have so much information, you're unable to make a decision. And so this is also troubling too, because this also keeps you in the hair loss mode. And if there's anything anyone has experienced with hair loss, is that you just want it to stop. You want the hair loss to stop, and you want to see the hair growth. You want to see renewed health. You want to feel better. You want to look at yourself in the mirror and recognize yourself and see like, yeah, this is it. I'm doing great. I'm on the right path. I'm healing. My hair is coming back. I feel better. And this is all what we want. But not taking action just keeps you locked in that same prison of the woe is me, in the same prison as the negative Nancy, as the same prison as, having a wrong mindset. So not taking action also keeps you on the sidelines, not playing in the game. And so this is important for you to realize, because taking action is part of it. And it's not just signing up for the program, but it's also implementing. You got to implement everything, and you need to do as much as you can. And sometimes things take a little longer for some, and others it takes less time. And sometimes, there's things that are challenging, and for others it's not so challenging. It just all depends on the type of person. But at the end of it, you will see results. At the end of it, you will be a better person for it. And at the end of it, it's an investment in you. It's 100% investing in you, in your health, in your future self, in your future happiness. Because the opposite of not taking action is wallowing in a miserable state, still seeing hair loss, not being happy, potentially not living your best life. Also, not going for the gold, meaning not raising your hand in class, not raising your hand for the promotion, not putting yourself out there when it comes to dating or relationships, not being as as social potentially as you'd like to be. I've heard time and time again from clients where because of their alopecia, they stopped taking swimming classes. They've stopped taking their dance classes. They've stopped doing their extracurricular activities. They've stopped doing so many things. And it's unfortunate because in many ways, hair loss has stopped these people from living their life as they would like to, taking their classes, going to work. For many, they've even stopped going to work because at some point, they don't even know how to cover up the situation. And it's daunting because I've even had school teachers where they don't even know how to cover up their bald spots because they're afraid that the children that they teach, elementary school or high school, are going to notice and then also bully them, make fun of them, tease them. And, it's a situation that's very unsettling, right? If you're the authority figure, if you're the teacher, if you're the professor, have to go through that. So not taking action only keeps you in that situation. So I push you towards action. I'm always going to encourage you towards growth. And sometimes for comfort zone, the comfort zone is there, but the comfort zone, nothing grows in comfort, nothing. And so if there's anything I can tell you is that sometimes we do need to get out of our comfort zone. Sometimes we do need to let go. And I'm happy to take your hand and walk you through it. And it's very important to go with somebody who's had the experience. And with the hundreds and hundreds, nearly thousands of clients that I've helped, it's all possible for you. It's all there for you. And from someone who's lived through alopecia, who's gone through it, many times I can see the clearing before you can. And so this is also a big takeaway because you need to go through that experience with somebody, right? How can someone teach you how to swim if they themselves have never been in the water? How can someone teach you how to do the breaststroke or how to hold your nose or your breath underneath the water or to swim so many laps and how to breathe appropriately if they themselves have never done that, if they themselves have never swam or been in an Olympic pool or even been in the water? So these are questions to really keep in mind and to be mindful of because experience does count, especially going through alopecia. So number 6, the last reason why you are continuously seeing hair loss is that thinking that diet alone is the trick. And in the Hair and Heal program, yes, we cover on diet. Yes, it's tailored to you, right? Just like I mentioned, I have vegan clients. I have clients who are pescatarian, meat eaters, don't eat this, don't eat that, have allergies, etc. We cater to all of you. However, diet alone is not going to heal. So regardless of what diet you're on now or what you've tried or what you didn't try or what you don't know, diet alone doesn't help. And what I like to say when it comes to alopecia is that it's a big puzzle and there's a lot of different puzzle pieces and diet is just one little puzzle piece. Diet is important, just like all the other puzzle pieces are important to be able to get to the full picture. Does that make sense? You have to get to the full picture in order to see the full puzzle be complete. And in order for this to happen, you have to acknowledge and implement all the other puzzle pieces. So if you are hyper-focused on diet, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I tell you this from experience. Diet alone did not heal my alopecia. I had to go and change many other things. And so these are other things that I'm telling you that if you're hyper-focused on diet, it's not it. And I will say that so many people get it wrong. Currently in my program, I have a registered dietitian who's a mom. She's gotten it wrong. I have nutritionists. I have registered nurses. I have a medical doctor. I have pharmacists. I have personal trainers. I have so many people who are in the health and wellness industry, and yet they get it wrong. And they get it wrong because they're not taught these principles. They're not taught these foundations for alopecia. It's a one-size-fits-all approach. When you go to medical school, it's a one-size-fits-all approach until you go and do your, specific residency for, let's say, pediatrics or for oncology or for, rheumatology or whatever it is, right? You have your specific niche that you're thrown in later on when you go through residency, right? But medical school in general is a one-size-fits-all until you keep going into like your specific niche, right? And your specific journey, let's say if you wanted to become a brain surgeon. The same thing happens for personal trainers and for dietitians and for nutritionists. Everything is a one size fits all until you become, let's say, very, very hyper focused on, I don't know, what a diabetic needs to eat, or until you become hyper focused on cancer patients, or until you start figuring out what children need, or this needs, or needs for older generational people. And so I'm focused on alopecia. I'm focused on alopecia for men, women, children of all ages, races, ethnicities, all around the world. And we've served more than 66 different countries at this point, with over hundreds and hundreds of clients. And I can tell you that healing alopecia is very different from what they are teaching you. And this is why I have people, so many people, parents included, who are the pharmacists, the registered nurses, the dietitians, nutritionists, personal trainers, etc., come do my program, because it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different animal in compared to what they've learned. And so it's a big stretch, and it's very different. And of course, it needs to be tailored. So it's not the one size fits all approach, which many of these other professionals are doing. And so thinking that diet alone is not the trick, and thinking that, with diet, we can heal everything. Diet is very important. I'm not arguing that. It is important. It's something we do 3 times a day, if not more. Very, very important, but it's not everything. And more than likely, it won't take you to the full extent of where you need to go towards healing. This is why I created the program. This is why we have blind spots. This is why we help you uncover them. This is why there are so many more pieces to this puzzle, which no one is addressing, because no one has done the work like I've done the work for you. I've suffered through it, and I don't want you to suffer anymore. There's an option to heal faster, and this is it. This is the proven method. So the bonus reason why you're not seeing hair loss is that asking the right questions before taking the help of someone with alopecia. And this is quite important, because when you ask the right questions, then you really get to the bottom of if they can help you or not. I get a lot of questions in regards to scarring alopecia. And I've had numerous people ask me about their scarring alopecia, and if I've had success with it, and if I've had clients with scarring alopecia. What I'd like to say is that, yes, I've had clients with scarring alopecia. Yes, I've seen success with scarring alopecia. And I have also podcast episodes about scarring alopecia. One that comes to mind is number 10, 24, and I think 31. I'm not quite sure, but we'll put it in the show notes for you. And scarring alopecia is one of those things where what you'll see from all these other podcast episodes is that many times people are misdiagnosed. Many times people are self-diagnosing what they think they have. And I know, because I was one of them. I was one of those people who self-diagnosed. Yes, I had the diagnosis from the doctor, which is really not necessary, but you can have it. And at the same time, hair loss is hair loss. How much hair loss is too much? You know the answer to that. If it's too much for you, it's already too much. That's the level. I'm not going to go by what they say on the internet or what they say at the doctor's office, where I believe it's like 75 to 150 hairs. If you're shedding more than that, then that's too much. What I'm going to tell you is, you know yourself more than anyone else. So if you're shedding too much hair, it's already too much. And you know that. You know that answer, because you know your body. You know how your hair is. You know the good, bad, and the ugly of your body and of your hair growth, of your hair loss, of when it's stagnant, of when it just doesn't grow. Because I've also had that happen to me too, where I believe it was back in my 20s, where it was a period where it just didn't grow. None of it grew. And I just didn't understand why. Now, looking back, I understand all my pitfalls. I understand everything where I've gone wrong. I understand how and why my hair didn't grow in my 20s as much as it should have, and how and why it took me so long to recover and recoup my hair from alopecia areata, which was going into totalis. And now, like I said earlier, now when COVID happens, or when pregnancy happens, or when any other life situation happens where so many factors are involved, now I have a steady grip, and I know exactly what to do and what needs to happen so that hair loss doesn't become an issue anymore. And that's the keys of the Hair and Heal program. That is the main focus, is to put you in full control. But these are the 6 plus a bonus of why you might be seeing continued hair loss. And so evaluate yourself. Is it mindset? Is it playing the victim? Is it this negative Nancy syndrome? With the negative Nancy syndrome, let me just go ahead and add that also it's the people you keep around you, right? If you're involved in these forums or in these groups where they're like, no, nothing helps. No, there is no cure, and people are just being and bombarding you with negative information, that can seep in to your mindset, that can seep into your being, that can seep into your world. And you want to disconnect yourself from that. You want to disconnect yourself from anyone and everything who's being negative about the situation, because if you believe it, you can do it. I believe 100% that any human on earth can do anything if they believe in themselves. And so it's all possible. It really is. It's all possible. And continue to evaluate yourself. Are you being the student? Are you being coachable? Are you being open to the suggestions, to the recommendations? Are you not taking action? Are you giving yourself excuses that you're too busy or you're too this or this happened or that happened? Are you not putting yourself as a priority, right? Taking action means putting yourself as a priority, because I got to tell you, as a mom, 100%, if I don't take care of me, there's a trickle down effect. If I don't sleep well, I become very grumpy, and everyone feels my wrath. Everyone feels my wrath if I don't sleep well. And so you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others first. So is there a lack of action? Is there a lack of self-care? Is there a lack of putting and prioritizing yourself and your health and your hair first? This is important. This is very important, because guess what? No one's going to put you as a priority unless you do it. No one's going to put you as a you come first situation unless you do it. And there's time for everybody. There's time for everything. And so we just got to make it. You have to make time. Thinking that diet alone is the trick. This is also something, you can't just think like, oh, I've been on such and such diet, or I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I'm super, clean, or I'm super healthy. And there's a lot of people who come to me and they quote unquote think they're already healthy, or they're very healthy because they're that nutritionist label, and they're really stuck with this label of I'm a nutritionist, I'm a registered dietitian. And then they see like this big aha moment once they do the program. They see where they've gone wrong. They see where their education falls short. They see where their education isn't as thorough, and potentially, their education is from 20, 30 years ago. Who knows? But when that education is not thorough, not recent or current, then there's a disconnect to what's going on right now and to how to heal it right now. And so these are my 6 plus 1 tips of, if you're still seeing hair loss, these might be the reasons that you're dealing with continued hair loss. I look forward to helping you and serving you in the future. If you want to learn more, please go to alopeciaangel.com and leave us rate and review our podcast. We are here to help you, and I hope that this has helped you. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Alopecia Angel podcast, a positive light in healing alopecia. You can do this, and we can help. Spread the word that reversing alopecia is possible by telling your friends and family.